The Square Ball Podcast.
Welcome to the show. Brought to you by Levi Solicitors. 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. Dan, Michael and Rob with you. Part 3 of the show is Heroes and Villains. First, the Ken Bates Villain of the Week award, named after our former chairman and owner, who brought us plenty of misery. Nominations then. What did we get from our TSB Plus members, and who else would you like to add yourself, if anybody? I presume Zaha getting a few mentions.
Zaha and Gallagher getting plenty.
Why do you think that is, Michael? You tell me why, Rob.
I mean, Neil Warnock is a character. That name sounds like a fair place to start. But Wilf Zaha, what a fucking whopper he is. Biggest baby ever. Someone needs to break him in half. Which, I mean, that it's generally sort of along that theme. We can't read the top one on the Zaha section.
No, I mean, that
submitted
is
by John
allegations.
John, that is libelous, heavily libelous.
I think Brian sums it up for me on Zaha. Cheer up, for fuck's sake. The rest of us have to go to actual work tomorrow, you miserable scum bastard. It is the way he seems to hate it. I don't understand it. That's what I got from the game. Like,
yeah,
what's his aim?
He does look.
He's just upset
sad,
with it. He's just upset with the whole thing. So yeah, and Andrew pointing out his face is an issue.
Yeah, it has been suggested, hasn't it, that we do an extra ball, because we mentioned Gordon, who plays for Everton. He's got Scouse face.
Yeah.
So we were saying, like, maybe that sort of ilk of person. Obviously, not everyone's Scouse face, but like Zaha's got. Is it resting bitch face that Zaha's
He's got a scum face.
Yeah.
It's amazing that move never worked out for him.
Yeah.
It's like Scott McTominay just has a scum face, doesn't he? He just looks like he should play for them.
Yeah, so sort of a scum face, Scouse face, kind of.
I enjoyed Scrooge's comment as well. I said, absolute panto villain. To be fair to him,
He isn't.
He'd be a world-class player if everyone just didn't tackle him or block his shots or run alongside him or just play football against him. There's Russian conscripts that look at Zaha and think, fuck, that's not me.
Oh dear. Right.
And Gallagher was actually worse on the diving.
Yeah.
Gallagher did at least 2 dives with 0 contact. There was the one he tried to win a penalty for at the end, which I haven't seen a replay of it. I'd urge you to seek this out because it's ridiculous. He does that. He's trying to do the.
Is it Rente that he goes up against?
I think it's Harrison. He's reaching. He's so far away from anyone. It's hard to know who he's even trying to run into. But he's doing the sort of. It's a kind of pioneered by Ronaldo, probably early days, then taken on by Grealish and Kane. The thing where you run past someone, and as you do it, rather than running with your legs like close together as a normal runner would, you kind of scissor them out in the hope that you'll touch someone. Yeah. And he leaps so far to his right.
Well, that's
still comes nowhere near anyone.
That's not necessarily 100% accurate, because when they do it, the scissoring motion tends to come like it's a single move, isn't it? Whereas what he did was actually land his right foot, which was carrying his weight, and then take another step to drag it across Harrison. He's nothing near a foul.
It looked more like a sliding tackle the way he had to execute it to try and get a contact on it. So, and then there was another one he did. I think he was with Phillips. He was running into the corner with it towards the end of the game, and again, he obviously expected there to be a tackle going, and Phillips didn't do it, but he went down anyway. And then there were loads of them.
And look, we should say as well, like, people do this. Dan James does it as well. Like, he puts his body in front of.
That's because he's a little scumbastard.
in front of plenty of defenders and goes down. It happens. What we're doing here is acknowledging that it happens and being honest about it. And all these fans of Palace who've been in denial about Zaha dive, he does dive.
He does dive.
Yeah, and Gallagher dives. All very, very obvious.
I mean,
Dan James does it. Luke Ayling does it. Loads of footballers do it. But ours are nicer than yours.
To go back to the most fouled list, Zaha's like so far clear at the top of that. Are you telling me that people want to foul him more than they want to foul Mahrez or De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva, all players who are better than him, but don't?
Yeah.
Or is it that he wants to be fouled, and therefore goes down all the time? Like, it doesn't make any sense that he would be the most fouled player in the league unless he wanted to be fouled.
Area 49.
And what I'm doing is I'm victim blaming.
Yeah, whinging little bastards. Enders saying whiny, diving little cheats. There are questions around how he doesn't get 2 yellows for simulation every game he plays.
Well, Gallagher should have done. Yeah. He did 2 spectacular 0 contact dives, which should have been yellows.
There should be punishment for that, where you can see that people are looking for it. I know we were joking about it on the match ball, weren't we?
It would be the thing is, it doesn't even need to happen during the game. If after the game you could go back and look at if there's stuff with 0 contact. I know Zaha is kind of tends to be clever enough to get a bit of a touch on someone, but Gallagher went down twice with no one anywhere near him. So it wouldn't be hard to go back after the game and go, we're retrospectively applying 2 yellows to this, and it would be an easy way of kind of cutting some of this stuff out, but they don't for some reason.
It's one of those Gallagher where it clearly looks like a decent player, but if he'd have come to Leeds, I feel like he's got too much of a Chelsea face to have actually played well. He just looks like a Chelsea player.
A Chelsea face. Ian does pick him out actually in the nominations here, saying Conor Gallagher for choosing Palace. I think. Did he choose Palace or did he just want to stay in London? There's a difference. I
think we wouldn't promise him first team football, which was
never the case with Bielsa. In much the same way that when Ben White came in, that's what he was told, and he was put in the 23s, and he was brilliant, and now he's a £50 million footballer. Mm-hmm. He said if Gallagher was at Leeds, I suspect Bielsa still would be. So it's all his fault.
It's a stretch to blame him for that.
It is,
but still, I'm more than happy.
The heart wants what the heart wants, though, doesn't it?
Exactly.
You can't blame Ian for that. Other nominations and the coaching team. Our coaching team, is it?
Yes, our coaching team, who decided to let them all take 2 weeks off instead of teaching a pass or a tackle.
Yeah,
they can have their holiday between the end of May and the start of the championship season. That was from No Name, which is a shame because it was a good comment.
It is a funny comment, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they had 2 weeks off, did they? I think it was.
They had a few days.
They had a few days off, I think.
Yeah,
it was a bit annoying that Marsh came out afterwards and then said, well, it's quite hard to keep them fit during that 2 week break.
You didn't have to send them all off to Ayia Napa. Crystal Palace as a concept got nominations as well. Adsham suggesting they're a diet Millwall.
Yeah, side of tossers cheered on by the god-awful droning ultras with that fucking drum.
Yeah, the drums and the singing were picked out by Scrooge as well. Please stop.
We get it, you're basically a Bollywood musical in Croydon. Please stop.
I like that analogy. Yeah, I did not. I said on the match ball, I noticed it was about sort of 3/4 of the way through the game. I was like, I just realised they've been drumming all game. It's tiresome. Just turn it down a notch. Turn it off. Actually.
Yeah, I mean, suggesting you're Diet Millwall. We're not saying pivot towards racism.
No.
But, do something better.
Do something better. Burnley, have they done something better? West Ham Ralph and Nowhere Man picking out Burnley for having the temerity to sack Sean Dyche and then go on a run and pick up points. Just go down with a whimper, said Nowhere Man. Do the right thing.
Fair.
Yeah,
absolutely.
How is Dyche, do you think, this week? A lot of people enjoyed his appearance on the show last week when he dialed in from his holiday.
Yes.
Is he having a nice time now? What do you think he's doing?
Still on holiday, I reckon.
Is he?
Yeah.
Can we not get him on?
Again?
I mean, like, people like to hear from Dyche. He's one of the football's iconic figures.
Oh, where is he this week? I don't know.
Think on it. Right, what else have we got?
Sticking on Palace, the half-time entertainment wanker. The shitbag who scored a penalty at half-time and cupped his ears to the away end. You had a giant bird in goal. Get over yourself.
Presumably that was the Eagle mascot.
Yeah.
I mean, although, it's quite hard to score a penalty against something gigantic that's got wings because you've got a lot of coverage of the goal there, haven't you? It's like in the 1980s, was it Bruce Grobbelaar who wore those comedy massive foam gloves?
And Neville Southall who wore the comedy... fat suit towards the end of his career.
Lampard and Everton as well, getting some nominations for presumably just for being in this race.
I mean, Dennison sums it up. No reason, but every reason.
Yeah.
He sums Frank Lampard up.
Area 49 says, where? That mean man in black didn't give me what I want, even though I asked. I'm going to write a letter to his work so I can tell him how bad he is.
Pathetic entitled bellend is described as
well,
there is that. There is actually there's a proper grassing element to that, isn't there?
He is a grass.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
He's proven he would try and get someone if he thought like a delivery driver had been a bit snippy with him.
Yeah,
he would be on the phone saying he wasn't very polite.
He'd be a 1-star Uber rater, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
what a prick. Because you've got to go for a baseline 3 with your Uber driver. At least
just give him 5-star all the time, unless there's been an actual assault take place. I think just I've been happy enough with this.
Yeah, I mean. Do you always, when you get an Uber, I mean, presumably you don't, Michael, you'll find
I will walk.
You'd walk always. But if you do,
I will wait 6 hours for a bus.
Have you found yourself being overly friendly with them because you don't want your star rating to drop? You don't do that?
It wasn't until a friend asked me for my rating and we started comparing it, and it's like, oh shit, I really want a 5-star rating now. I'm started
because I had the full 5 stars, and then one driver who I was nice as pie to, but not overly bearing. He gave me 4. Really put.
He'd heard you play the part of racist dog owner.
Yeah, fair point.
He had it on the radio and he was like, I recognise this guy. Something I don't like about him.
Lord Ruggiero is picking the low-hanging fruit here, saying wank Lampard's wicked comb over can't be legal, heading towards the Sir Bobby.
The thing is, it upset him as well. So that's why I think that's why it's worth persisting. I've just checked 4.84 on Uber.
Right, okay, we'll have to have a look. Do you know, by the way, just as a
this is going to be a test of who's the best person here.
Just as an aside, you can now, they've just launched Uber Pets, where you can call for a taxi to take your dog with you or your cat.
I thought you got a lift on a dog.
Oh, you're lying. You're lying. Sorry.
I've got a new phone. I'm locked out of my Uber account.
Rob's got like 2.1.
Yeah.
He's trying to pretend.
Michael, 4.91.
Bastard.
Read it and weep. Read it and weep. There we go.
You're 0.07 better than me.
I am objectively a better person than you. What else have we got?
Wolves. Dickheads. No explanation given.
Richard, thanks, Richard.
Losing to Burnley, I guess, is their crime.
A couple of disliking messages for Jesse Marsh as well. That's unfair, Jelly, suggesting that he's taken Calvin Phillips back 4 seasons. I don't think that's true. And there are a lot of cheap shots at American tropes there.
I was going to say, he's just a soda drinking, candy chomping, chip crunching TED Talk Sean Dyche. He does then say, I may be overreacting, which is fair enough. Yeah, I mean, Phillips, it's too early to judge him, isn't it? He's not played.
And cock for click as well was mentioned by James for going more defensive in midfield. Did it need it? I don't know. Maybe. Diego Llorente for causing anxiety attacks for Matt.
I mean, that was one of his karma games, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was
making an arse tackle in the penalty area.
The lunging arse tackle. Yeah. Is that everybody in terms of nominations? What we got? Yeah, have we got a winner there?
I mean, it's really Gallagher or Zaha, isn't it?
Yeah.
Zaha's definitely seems to have upset more people.
I think we should share it between them, because I think that would upset Zaha as well. He didn't win it because he's got an entitled face.
I was going to say I don't want to give it to Zaha because he would take that as sort of a claim.
Yeah.
But then I don't really want to give it to Gallagher because he's Chelsea, so make him share it.
It'd upset Palace fans more if it was Zaha, because he's their golden boy who, despite the fact he's desperate to leave and has been throughout his entire career, they can't hear anything bad said against. They're basically in like a bad relationship with him where he wants out.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh no, he loves us.
Yeah.
He stays at Palace out of loyalty, not just because,
he's on a massive wage.
Just because no one's ever been willing to pay 80 million for him.
For a sulky twat.
Because he's a baby.
Yeah. Should we give it to them both?
I suppose.
Yeah.
Let him share it, dickheads.
Yeah, because it's going to cause conflict.
Let him have the most pathetic fight ever seen over it.
Yeah, both of them on the floor. Right, let's do the Gaetano Berardi Hero of the Week awards. Nominations, please. Who has embodied the positive spirits of Gaetano Berardi this week?
Lots for Meslier, I don't think we really mentioned him in propaganda, but he was our man of the match, I'd say, over him or Cooper, who's also got a lot of mention.
Has he made it's the highest number of saves in the Premier League this season, hasn't he, Meslier? Which is not necessarily the win that we hope, but
we've given him loads to do.
Yeah.
Well done us. Basically everyone just nominating him for being good.
Yeah, and Philip, who is the top nomination on the sheet here, talks about his unflappability and the fact that he looks unfazed with it all, even though he's got Llorente in front of him.
Say, compare him to Llorente. I mean, Meslier has had a very stressful season, given the amount of saves he's had to make, but he does manage to keep his cool.
Philip also does like Dan James for being a little scum bastard with his booking a game performance, which is true. You had 2 bites of the cherry there, Philip. Don't get greedy. Fears over losing Meslier next summer. Yeah, or whatever. What can you do?
If he goes.
I'm feeling quite nihilistic at the minute because we've got Man City at the weekend and I can't cope with the stress anymore. So I'm bordering on a sort of tear it all down, but in a light way.
I do feel like goalkeeper is one of those positions that you think, yeah, you can replace a goalkeeper though until you get a bad one, and then you're like, oh shit,
what have we done?
He's costing us, like when you had Rahubka and Wiedwald, who were basically costing you, and Casilla in fact, all these people who were basically like worth a goal start for the opposition every time they played, and you were like, yeah, it's probably worth getting a decent keeper, isn't it? I think it feels like one of those positions though, if you can just get someone competent, that's mainly fine. Someone who just won't do anything stupid.
I do like the absolute brass neck of what James has suggested here, and says that Meslier gets his nomination for being very good, but he does still think we should sell him for £40 million plus and buy Pope for 20 million quid if Burnley go down. I mean, the balls to say that, given our current predicament, is wonderful. The entitlement, great stuff. Good work. Liam Cooper gets nominations. Another one, actually, because he's been very, very prominent, actually, hasn't he, in recent weeks on this award?
Yeah, single-handedly carrying us to survival in the Premier League, says LDU, whatever that stands for. But yeah, he's been class. I think he maybe is benefiting from the slightly simpler system with Marsh, I think, and because he can just do his defensive stuff and he's not quite as...
But he did look pissed off when he didn't have anybody to give the outball to against Palace.
He gave an interview to Phil Hay, didn't he, where he was saying all previous Leeds managers prior to Bielsa were kind of asking him to do the meat and potatoes of defending and just heading and making blocks, and he said, well, actually my strength is kind of getting on the ball, but he's been very, very good since coming back, and just I think having a voice at the back, you sort of realise the difference he's making. I
think it doesn't leave him as exposed, the system, is it? Like defensively there are other bodies in there, so if he slips up there's someone else there to pick up the pieces, whereas with Bielsa it was often like no one can make a mistake or they will score.
And there's a number of people actually here suggesting he deserves credit for being as composed as he is next to Diego Llorente, who there's sort of an Ian Curtis dancing quality about Diego Llorente's defending at times, isn't there? Just flinging limbs, because we always say that Moscow reminds us a bit of Ian Curtis, don't we? Because he's a bit limmy, particularly when he gets a couple of drinks down his neck.
Yeah, I've seen him dancing, and it's very he's a bit like I don't know how you describe him. You know those things you get on holiday where like there's a button in the bottom and it's a string man and he kind of slumps.
Yeah.
You release it and he stands up again. He's got a bit of that about him.
Proudly erect. Yeah. Who else gets nominations?
Ayling gets quite a few. I wasn't sure on Ayling's performance, truthfully. It was kind of funny that he got away without being booked, and obviously upset.
You can't get upset. The thing is, you can't get angry at Luke Ayling because he's a lovely guy. We all know he's a lovely guy. He's fun because he's got the man bun and the ponytail and all that sort of stuff. He gets it out. He plays with a smile on his face even when he's cheating and fouling. you can't get angry at him, can you?
I thought he gave as good as he got. I thought, which was fair enough. It was a good battle, and there was a few times where he nutmegged players and things like that. Just everything else it led to just broke down immediately. But yeah, he stuck in there, and it was telling that Marsh sort of went straight over to him to give him a big hug. And Luke Ayling looked absolutely exhausted and seems to go fucking hell.
Yeah, because I suppose if Zaha's shots go in, we're probably having. He's probably not getting his nominations, is he? But all's well that ends well.
Yep. Calvin gets a few nominations as well. Nice to see him back, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, considering these are hero nominations, I can read verbatim the nice to see him back, I guess. Back in the fold. Wasn't great, but at least he got through 90 minutes.
Well, that's...
wow, what praise.
A fallow week. Yeah,
I must admit, when we saw Koch warming up on about 40 minutes and getting instructions, I just thought, God,
no, he's gone. He's gone again, yeah.
And it wasn't.
Thank God. Yeah,
so that was good.
Our fans countering the Sky axis of evil, John P. How do you say it? Is it Glenn Rothers?
Glenn Roth?
Sean, move somewhere else. And Aidan as well, saying that they didn't stop singing for 90 minutes, and they had it out with Sky as well. Sky TV is not very good as they were singing. About 10 minutes into the game, did us proud considering the late change in their fixture. So well done. Yeah.
I'm enjoying Ad Sham's nomination for Dan James for... highlight was the little scum bastard flying out of the undergrowth like a wild boar and clattering ward.
He does charge around, doesn't he, like a pig that's been disturbed in a forest.
I think it's because his head does sort of bob as well when he gets really going.
Sniffling around in the undergrowth trying to find truffles, and then along comes Joel Ward.
So he's minding his own business.
Charges at him.
He had to lay his hands on him. Who knows what will happen to Dan James in the next game, having had Joel Ward's hands on him.
Yeah.
May have improved him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Ben just says, sums it up well by saying, Dan James, I love the little scum bastard. What a challenge that was. It was a great tackle on Ward, as Andrew said. Some other outlying nominations. Everton get nominated by Scott's Oates.
Just for losing, basically.
Yeah, well done.
Fair enough.
And from that same game as well, Alisson Becker, the keeper, Liverpool.
That was very good.
That was very, very fun. Because when I was watching that, I hadn't seen the first half, as I was mentioning before, because I was out doing my practice walk. So I caught the second half of that game, and I thought, what's he done that for? And then it was mentioned in the commentary, wasn't it? I was like, very, very good.
Needs more of that.
Yeah. I've shithousing.
Yeah, and fairly harmless, funny. It's fine. I don't mind it when Canos is dancing in front of the cop. You sort of think, oh, not bad or whatever. But this year, I quite enjoyed Trent Alexander-Arnold having had "You Just a Shit Kyle Walker" sung at him. Then I think he put a cross in and they scored from it, and he just did a little tap of the ear, and just there I think, fair enough.
It is nice players acknowledging it, and players acknowledging other players as well. It's very nice.
And the fact that at a transactional level, we know he's very good, and we're just poking a bit of fun at him.
Yeah,
and then he can just go like that, and everyone's happy.
And Pickford in the first half was making a joke of it, essentially, that he was. Because it was one of he basically every time he caught the ball, wherever he was, he would then fall to his knees, then fall to his onto his stomach with it and lay there for a bit, and he was sort of winking at people and whatever.
Yeah, he gave it the wink, didn't he? Which is where Alisson, I think, made a note of that.
Excellent. Vieira's gut. Roger says.
Well,
again, we're going for low-hanging fruit. We picked out Frank Lampard's hair before. We didn't. Our mean listeners did.
Piling it on, yeah. Well.
I mean, how old is Patrick Vieira? Let me just have a look at this. Read some of the other nominations while I just look at his age.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult as you get older.
No.
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Vieira's still probably in better shape than me, so I'm not gonna criticise him too much. But saying that, Frank Lampard's hair's in better shape than mine. But it won't stop me criticising him.
He is 45. Is Vieira? He'll be 46 in a couple of months' time.
Christ, I'll be absolutely on the scrap heap by 46.
So he's a couple of years older than me, which gives me hope.
Also, in the speaking of Lampard's hair, described as a theoretical haired character.
What? Sorry.
Theoretical head. He's reached that level.
Theoretical head,
which is good. Have we already nominated Llorente for his bum tackle? Outstanding. Needs more of them.
Yeah. Dear me.
I think Ian Poveda needs a nomination. He's back from injury, playing for Blackburn, and also he posted a photo to his Instagram over the weekend.
What? What a nerd.
We don't have long enough in this show to dissect that photograph, but it's absolutely amazing. You need to go look at it.
I've written about it for the blog, which will be up by the time this podcast is up.
Perfect.
I have been absolutely fascinated by it and can't stop thinking about it.
Oh, so check out the website, thesquareball.net for that then. And he's looking at a massive painting of himself.
Yeah.
Gazing at it.
And the painting seems to have his own lampshade painted into it.
Yes, he's got a very large, it's sort of a circular, bejeweled
It's
thing,
a very footballery light.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that you might see in a shop almost, like a decorative lamp kind of thing. Circular, lots of lights in the middle of it, but it's got kind of decorative, not jewels, but almost like long crystal type appearance about it. And bizarrely, there's one of those floating over his head. It's supposed to look like a halo, I think, but it's off-centre.
The whole thing's weird. I mean, it
looks like a parody.
It's not far off a life-size picture of himself, is it?
He's bigger than him, probably. I mean, I do
make me look like a giant.
I do love Ian Poveda. It's going back to the Zaha thing where he's always miserable. Poveda makes being a footballer look as great as you always hoped it would.
Yeah. Look at all this money I've got. I can buy daft stuff like a big painting of myself.
Yeah.
I mean, would you do that? Would you commission a painting of yourself if you had tens of thousands in your bank every month?
No.
Would you?
When I bought my house, the people who we bought it off, he did have an oil painting of himself.
Wow. With a family or
just him?
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the man of the house had a painting of himself on the wall.
I would love to hear from anybody who has that. We're not talking like a family portrait or a nice photograph where you look, proudly sat against one of those generic backdrops that they do, because that's understandable. But to commission a painting of yourself.
And just yourself.
Yeah.
Not of your kids.
Why do you need to... What is it that you get out of seeing that every day?
What's the backdrop of Poveda's picture?
It's
outside, isn't it?
It's a city, yeah. I don't know if it's London. It's not Blackburn.
No.
But yeah, I think it's London.
I'm fascinated by it.
And also, he's since deleted it from his Instagram, which I think is because he tagged the wrong designer in it. Because, a completely different account has tagged him into the photo.
Classic.
Than the one he thanked.
So love for Dan James for getting stuck in. Love for Bielsa, that's not going to happen.
Poveda also did play football again.
Not going to come back. So Bielsa has been nominated, but it's a lone nomination. It feels sad, it feels lonely. Please come back. No, it's gone, isn't it? It's over.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back. Maybe we'll go see him one day. We'll have a nice time, but right now is not the time for that discussion, is it? I think that's everybody. Who's your hero of the week?
I feel like if Cooper and Ayling both won it in recent weeks. I feel like Ayling won it after the Wolves game. Cooper probably won it after Watford or something.
Or Southampton, maybe. I don't know.
Is it Meslier this week then?
Meslier is probably due it.
Yeah. He was the most significant, I think, in terms of his contribution to the game.
Keepers get credit for clean sheets as well, don't they? It's what goes against their name, isn't it?
And a massive honourable mention as well for the fans for flying the flag and all that.
And who've been fucked over as well by Sky moving it at the last minute to a Monday night, which is hugely inconvenient.
But Meslier, actually, Jesse Marsh did say in the post-match, the positives we take from it: 2 clean sheets on the bounce, and that is in the hands, literally, of Illan Meslier. So, yeah, hero of the week.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Good stuff. Well, there you go. That wraps up the show, the weekly show for this week. We will return next week post Manchester City as the season rounds the final bend, which somehow feels appropriate, doesn't it? Going round the bend this season. Still looking forward to it being over?
Yep. Yeah. Can't wait.
Soon enough.
Just want a nice big sleep until it's all finished.
And then the week after it finishes, after Brentford, we're doing the big charity walk. Anything to say on that before we do head off? Just that, look out. If you do know, because we know that people watch and listen to this, that there's more information coming out about what we're doing there.
I'll be sending a big email soon with all information and stuff on.
Because we're doing the 92-mile walk over 4 days, raising money for Andy's Man Club and the Samaritans mental health charities. Walking from Gary Speed's, the street where he grew up, and his first playing field in North Wales, all the way back to Leeds over 4 days. And I'm really looking forward to it.
I'm as well, weirdly. Even though it's going to be hard. We're all doing it, aren't we? Now Moscow's not here. Should we slate him for not taking part?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's carry on that conversation off air. In the meantime, we'll see you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.